Benjamin Whittaker was born in the summer of 1997 in England, and his early academic success brought little joy to his father, a former boxer. Ben only excelled in sports, and once he hit 15, Dad gave him a choice. Listen, you have to pick between football and boxing. I'm not gonna lie to you, you're rubbish at football. Taking up pugilism, the lean and mean Whittaker quickly turned the spark of his talent into a flame. He developed a style based on active footwork and slipping. Although Ben was never shy to throw down, he mostly preferred the role of a sniper, which earned him 2 national championship titles. By the age of 20, the Brit had grown to 6 foot 3 inches tall and learned how to use his attributes.
So Whittaker doesn't necessarily.
Towering over the opposition in the 165-pound division, Whittaker developed a mile-long jab.
That's better. James Ben Whittaker.
And proved to have some natural pop.
Get plenty of column inches as well, I would suspect, with the personality and his style, and he puts Perugino over.
Dubbed the Surgeon for immaculate precision, the Brit received praise from Anthony Joshua in front of none other than Floyd Mayweather.
This is Ben Whittaker. Ben Whittaker. Bad boy fighter. Olympic fighter right now, but I swear to you, this guy here, the creme de la creme. Yeah, man, I'm pretty in the ring, man. He's good.
However, a lesson in humility was taught to him by the Ukrainian, Alexander Hizhnyak, who would later win all the major amateur accolades, including Olympic gold. At the 2017 European Championships, Ben maintained comfortable distance.
До фіналів.
And evaded incoming shots with bravado.
Як вкладається в удари українець, відчувається, наскільки він хоче нокаутувати опонента.
But when put under pressure,
Хижняк зробив вірне рішення, що я казав. Розрахунок.
Whittaker engaged in a gunpowder war. Which cost him the decision.
Alexander Hizhnyak.
Nevertheless, Ben drew the right conclusions. He moved up to the 178-pound light heavyweight division and fully transformed into a crafty outboxer. The elusive Brit spent the next 3 years digging up his opponent's Max Payne style. And collecting medals at European and World Championships. His Olympic dream was nearly derailed by the 2020 Games being postponed due to the pandemic. On top of that, Whittaker considered withdrawing altogether when his beloved grandmother died.
I was very close to her, so I actually made the decision not to go, but my dad said it would be the right thing and your grandma would want you to go. So I had to go there, and then
Oh, we can pause, come back to it. Sorry.
Arriving in Tokyo in 2021, Ben won his first 3 matches, making the semifinals and facing Imam Hatayev, who had already scored a knockout a bout prior.
Twice in the first round. You do worry if you're going to see it through, and he's not going to see it through because he's been absolutely wiped out.
And now boasts a 100% finish rate in the professional ranks.
Yeah, that's going to be brilliant. Oh, there.
He's down. He's down. The fight.
Nevertheless, even the Russian power puncher couldn't get past the Brit's jab for 2 rounds.
As we've already seen in the past, joined a group of
swinging and missing.
Carry on. It's a very good effect here.
While also eating counters.
It's about getting
In the third, Hatayev showed some urgency.
Start working the body, but he isn't. No way Ben Whittaker can think, I can just coast through this.
But Ben danced through this little tango without a hitch.
Wrecking ball, Imam Hatayev has just not been out of land. Has there been enough quality to see? Here we go again.
In the finale, he faced Olympic champion Arlen Lopez, who had long been taking off heads in semi-pro competitions.
Another right hand getting through from Lopez, and he's gone down!
Entering the contest with a compromised shoulder, Ben was forced to use only his left arm, which was ideal for the predominantly southpaw Cuban.
No holding, Dredge.
Feeling confident, Arlen boldly switched stances and caught the Brit off guard by landing a series of right hands. In the second half, Whittaker made adjustments and, despite the pain, started gritting out exchanges in close. Which made the ending competitive and the decision split.
In blue, Arlen.
Overcome with emotions, Ben refused to wear the medal, a choice he'd later regret. Whittaker had to postpone the previously planned transition to the pros due to a surgery. To stay relevant, he dedicated himself to his passion for music.
How many times did these niggas try to do me wrong?
He didn't forget to drop by the gym either, roughing up hopelessly outmatched bloggers. Having regained his form by spring of 2022, Whittaker signed with the promotional company Boxer, which airs its events on the British TV giant Sky Sports.
Boxing, of course, you gotta fight anybody, but it's a business as well. But I want anybody, man, line them up. I'll look sexy, I'll look flashy, make sure the ring walk looks good. And, I'm sure people will be paying to see me lose or win, but I'll make sure I win.
Preparing for the debut, Ben also joined forces with coach Sugar Hill Stewart, known for his work alongside Tyson Fury. Not delaying baptism by fire, the 25-year-old Whittaker would go up against Greg O'Neill that summer. Ben immediately put the jab in his face.
All the other things he achieved. Moment, man. Yeah, I think the pro debut of
gave him a little crowd-approved power ride.
It's an exciting time. There's massive expectations of him, but I think he likes the expectations. He likes the pressure. He likes the hype.
And mixed it up to the body.
So much talent. He probably has to work harder because there's so many different areas that he can exploit.
Winding up his punches, and O'Neill doesn't know.
A frustrated O'Neill went tanking.
Successful, yeah.
Lovely.
Hitting nothing but air.
Slippery skills.
And allowing Whittaker the freedom to showcase the Drunken Master aesthetics.
Well, I think in the opening 3 minutes, we've seen a bit of everything we're going to get from Whittaker already. Look at this.
In the second, Greg was a sitting duck for jabs.
From Darlaston.
Biting on feints, while exposing himself to timely twos.
It was a big shot to get his signature for Ben Shalom, and he's first on his feet. And that punch from Whittaker.
Throwing a decoy jab and a right hook behind, Whittaker left O'Neill in the rearview mirror and headed to Saudi Arabia 3 weeks later, where his friend Anthony Joshua was attempting to avenge the Usyk loss. On the undercard of the year's biggest event, Petr Nosic, whom Ben had beaten in the amateurs, despite his undefeated stat, played a silent extra.
So lovely right hand there from the
The surgeon was a cut above, particularly with the jab.
It was the COVID time, so they gave him the medal in his
automatically think, well, Whittaker's got...
Steadily working the midsection.
I think could you get the medal?
Evander Holyfield watching
and methodically priming a shot up top.
Silver refused to wear the medal and said...
Whittaker's would have stopped him quickly if his left shoulder hadn't given out, thus allowing the Croatian to briefly improve his matters, and forcing Ben to rely solely on the right hand.
Oh, good right hand there.
Still, making a poker face, he clearly won 5 out of 6 rounds.
Trying to put more pressure here on not that damage that he's chosen to take. I'll get shot. It's lovely.
As well as the judges' favor.
100%. My main thing is I just like to perform. I don't like to let my team down, and the main thing is I wanted to be in count with Sugar and keep learning, but I wasn't able to do that, so go back to the drawing board, keep learning, and come back even prettier.
While sidelined, an avid anime fan, Whittaker didn't get bored, hanging out at conventions with like-minded folks, and got a sleeve tattoo featuring his favorite characters. Despite the poor prognosis of an 18-month layoff, the Brit recovered in record time, fine-tuned his left hook during the hiatus, and came back to the ring 8 months later against journeyman Jordan Grant. Sporting leopard colors a la Nassim Hamed, he assertively took the center.
There's the showboating.
Clowned around a bit.
Distracted by any of that.
And began spamming shots to the spleen area.
I don't think that character.
Alter ego, that's part of his...
Absolutely, that's a very good point. To the boxing again there, the one.
Having made the foe fear for his ribcage,
Whittaker.
He's just tapping away and he's one big shot. Waiting, great body.
Ben shifted focus to the head with 1-2s.
Whittaker. Right hand cocked to ready to go. Huge right hand from Whittaker.
Hurting Grant through the guard, Whittaker couldn't get him out of there right away.
Around Whittaker, looking to close in here and try and keep things tight here. Jordan Grant, get that guard up, which is exactly.
However, he had already lined up the left around the side
We were quite a distance
and delivered the final blow in the third.
The backhand that came through it wasn't even.
Oh, and he's starting again here and down right to the very start of the round here. Jordan Grant.
All bets are off.
Drilling the enemy's chin with a scalpel-like hook and walking off as if nothing happened. Ben also showcased his flair for cosplay.
Everybody keeps classing me as the next Nas, so I thought it was only right to bring him back.
Just 2 months down the line, the tireless Whittaker crossed paths with Vladimir Belushki. The Slovak nicknamed Big Bad Vlad was always up for a brawl, with 9 stoppages in 13 wins. Unfortunately for him, that evening, the only big thing in the ring was Ben.
Jump with hard shots of pain, but just by sheer demoralising.
Sticking to the plan, the surgeon sliced up the liver.
Hands are quick here, they're nice and
then went to the opposite side.
It's nice to see Whittaker, you know, a little bit more control.
And began targeting the head while entertaining the audience.
False confidence that Belushki may has been knocked out of him already.
By the third round, Whittaker had had enough of the cat-and-mouse game.
Just inching in with that front foot. Right hand to the body, dips those knees, throws the right hand to the body. Already in this round, though, he looks to me like he's getting those feet just a little bit closer.
Discouraged Vlad from throwing with a set of check hooks. Tagged him and switched to automatic mode, dropping him with a right-hand salvo.
Down the middle, that was neat. Belushki with a little bit of trouble here.
After piercing the defenses with a series of accurate strikes, in order to gain 8-round experience, Ben continued to dominate in the low heart rate zone. By the 5th, Vlad looked utterly helpless.
Questions of Ben Whittaker is just whether Ben can open him off.
Good left hand there for Whittaker.
Whittaker granted him another reprieve.
Final few seconds, he looked rocked there briefly. Leans in and just offers a head there to Belushki.
And towed the Slovak down the one-way road into the 8th.
So they're around 7.
But on the last lap, it was time to finish the job.
But he had a good 3-4 seconds there. Left hand there for Whittaker, and the referee has jumped in.
The Brit prolonged the execution to test his newly expanded arsenal, which he managed to do in full. As 2023 drew to a close, dancing in anticipation of a knockout, Ben clashed with a former sparring partner, the 11-2 Stephen Dreadeye.
Things get underway.
The waltz picked up on the roped dance floor.
The process should be as lengthy
In the early going, Whittaker engaged in his typical export of straights. Nonetheless, the 6'3" Dreadeye was finding the mark at times.
I'd like to see him, you know.
At one point, Ben lost his cool and committed a foul.
Goes down to a knee there, Dredge.
But he quickly regained composure and stepped on the gas.
More orthodox now again, looking for that long right, landed it though. From the Albanian.
Making it clear that the night wouldn't end well for Steven. From then on, the surgeon would alternate between maneuvering in the center
and then just moves off to the right-hand side.
And launching frontal assaults on the opponent, who was lingering near the ropes.
And again, the right.
In the third round, Dreadeye's game face turned bloody, while Ben kept his cleaner than an operating room, even without direct eye contact.
We'll be looking to do exactly that. A significant effect on him, a cumulative effect.
In the fourth, he figured out Steven's timing.
Through the middle, you could see the head
and pulled the trigger. Taking the jab bait and trying to throw back, Steven took a wallop straight to the face. By February 2024, the 26-year-old Phenom had gained a lot of steam and planned on getting the title soon. To warm him up, the management brought in journeyman Khalid Gradia, planning to put on a torture seminar. He immediately began tearing up the Frenchman's body.
Whittaker in the black, Gradia in the white.
Do 3 uppercuts on the spin.
And following up off of a double jab, a new addition to his repertoire.
Last year, he's been able.
In the process, the surgeon relentlessly made fun of the opponent's efforts.
Good defensive.
Khalid was not having it. Started winding up on right hands.
Gradia gets onto the and trying to sick.
By doing so, he forgot to keep his elbows in tight, exposing the liver.
Swagger and the brand and all that type of thing. I do.
After a knockdown in the second, Whittaker continued to escalate the ballet of Drunken Master violence.
Can he follow it up? He looked for it again there, but he managed to drop the elbow on it.
The Frenchman's swings were lagging worse than Windows Vista.
That he caught him with the headshot came, he just missed it.
When your opponent in front of you, you can't hit them and you miss one.
So the bout resembled target practice.
And that's when it makes the...
In the third, Ben systematically bombarded the midsection.
All his experience here.
Yeah, he's got to try and tuck up tight.
And made Khalid reluctant to jab with cross counters. When Gradia shelled up,
a little bit of swelling.
Whittaker got the uppercuts going.
He's going to dip, and he brings it up the middle.
Third round.
Confident that he could finish the fight at any moment, the surgeon began channeling Roy Jones Jr. vibes.
Whittaker's antics, so maybe just riling Gradia up a little bit here. He's setting his feet and looking to let his hands go, but that could suit Ben Whittaker. He's just been back up to the ropes and touch.
The fun was cut short by the referee, who warned Ben for hitting with the back of his glove. And for slapping the back of the head.
It's very demoralizing.
Well, Whittaker is going to get tired.
Not wanting to drag it out, Whittaker moved in for the kill.
He's had his own successes, just obviously not enough. That was a great body shot from Whittaker, and he felt that his hand stopped immediately.
Gradia, a little bit of trouble here, backs up to the corner, sits down onto the bottom rope. In comes the tap.
Setting the crowd on fire with his Drunken Master antics.
Can he follow it up? He looked for it again there, but he managed to drop the elbow on it.
And adding a 5th KO and 6 showings to his resume, Ben went viral online. Hundreds of millions of views and 1 million Instagram followers meant one thing: a title shot was imminent.
I can dance, I can shimmy, while broken down in a jiffy.
The final stepping stone was the heavy-handed Brit Leon Willings. Who had a similar record with 7 wins, was also on the rise and guaranteed a sturdy test. The braggadocious Geek's walkout in March was preceded by a theatrical performance inspired by Naruto.
So into the first.
Once the bout took off, Ben used a body jab to pin Leon to the ropes and tried to persuade him to drop anchor. Scoring a knockdown at the 2-minute mark.
shots already.
Willings somehow stayed afloat for the rest of the round.
Showboating that we've seen previously in fights, he's just got straight down to the...
But Whittaker let him off the hook at the end for the lulls.
The press conferences keyed him off because he's really firing at all cylinders.
We're right to the end of the round.
Leon took advantage of the gift and came out with renewed spirit after the break.
A little bit cold at the start of the round, and he's making Whittaker work here. Right hand over the top, landed on the back of the head, but then the left hand got through.
This forced Ben to push harder to regain the lost advantage.
Good, it's quite dangerous because he throws it in a quite unorthodox manner. Good right hands here though for Whittaker.
And yet, despite the favorite's constant pressure, Willings refused to go down.
Willings on the ropes. Good 1-2 there for Whittaker. Willings trying to get off the ropes.
So maybe we might see a bit of
ill effects of tasting the power.
At the midpoint, the gutsy underdog even started pushing back the now tiring Whittaker.
Willings just coming in with the right hand there, then catches Whittaker with the left.
And snuck in an illegal elbow.
He did take it well.
Following instructions from his corner, Ben diminished the output in the second half.
It's been competitive, Willings.
It's landed.
Yes, look, missed him.
Leon showed gratitude by adapting the Ali rope-a-dope, dishing it out while leaning back.
A few clean shots as well. Look, two in the awe of how he's rolling them right hands. Good shoulder roll. Lovely left hooks too.
Nevertheless, Whittaker continued to outstrike him comfortably.
Leon Willings is what we're seeing now,
and he's hardly coming back with it.
In the closing moments, the Warriors threw caution to the wind, embracing the heat of exchanges.
For briefly there, Willings again just manages to roll under.
You're going to get those every time, Dan, as you know.
With Willings swinging himself off his feet. The Drunken Master 2.0 may have scored a knockdown, but he also found himself in hot waters for the first time. By emerging victorious, Ben secured the coveted shot at the belt. He cashed in on it in June. His opponent was the scandalous Nigerian Ezra Aranika, a 12-0 IBF title contender with 10 KOs, who had been stalking the Brit at press conferences.
Pull out your jeans, man.
The hometown boxer's entrance was grandiose and featured an orchestra. Following the official proceedings, Ezra began taunting Ben.
He's playing him on his own game.
With a calculated intention to land the right.
But Aranika looks to try and
Yeah, too sharp, Whittaker to catch.
Learning from past mistakes, Whittaker would pull his head back.
Swaying slightly when he wasn't.
And intercept the advancing Nigerian with well-timed combinations.
And enjoy himself. But you look at his fights.
By the halfway point, Aranika had taken his share of body blows, achieving little success in cycling.
Here, I wonder if the body shot has hurt him there just a few.
He tried his hand at wrestling,
Himself as he comes across as he reaches for a long right hand.
which prompted him to seek shots on the break.
That's a good left hand to the body from Whittaker. And then again, just say, the reason is that most of the time when he tries something...
In turn, Ben beat the technicolor hell out of him whenever he attempted to approach.
4-5 punch combination.
Out of frustration, Ezra resorted to a cheeky move inspired by Naruto's 1,000 Years of Death.
1,000 years of death!
In the second half, Whittaker continued to hammer the Hole Seeker's torso. who by then was feebly backing up.
A slight dead man at the top. A minute of round 6 if he can just keep turning.
Aside from yapping, Whittaker had no response.
The body.
So he went for a headbutt after the bell. Still, it had no impact on the outcome.
Loads of, so you can see that, but he's hard enough, he can stick you with accuracy.
And the mentally exhausted rival resorted to an elbow strike. The referee deducted a point from him. As the 10-round affair was coming to a close, the fighters exchanged back and forth.
But just walked into the body again, but Whittaker just...
Throwing from the waist, Whittaker touched Ezra up.
He was able to take a breather there.
And in the final seconds, Whittaker was already tipsy on punches.
And he's at least really got through and put a big dent in him, and he's just about going to make it through to the final bell there, Whittaker.
Despite the opponent's repeated fouls, the disciplined Brit made it to the decision, securing a $200,000 bag and a minor belt from the prestigious IBF.
Of course, if I stood here and said I didn't want to knock him out, I'll be lying. But at the end of the day, I kept it clean. I hurt him a couple of times. He turned into UFC at times. He headbutted me, elbowed me. But it's all a good experience.
Because antics, so maybe just run and close it up a little bit.
Swagger and the brand and all that type of thing.
In just 2 years and 8 professional outings, Ben Whittaker has already established himself as a rising star.
It was a big
adding knockouts to his highlight reel and putting on memorable fights. The Drunken Master style ambassador has burst into the trends, creeping closer to the light heavyweight throne.
The backhand that came through is it wasn't even... when he started again.
The division is currently dominated by the Russian freight trains, Dmitry Bivol and Artur Beterbiev. Whether the dynamic Brit can challenge the elite remains to be seen. However, the 27-year-old phenom with a potential for greatness need not rush, since he, unlike the two top dogs, has time on his side and a massive fan base that opens all doors in the boxing business.
Whittaker's antics, so maybe just run and close it up a little bit here. He's setting his feet. And he's punched up immediately. Dredge a little bit of trouble here. Backs up to the corner, sits down.
If you enjoyed the video, take a shot at the like button, subscribe to the channel, and vote for sport.
Another day, another win. Shout out everybody that's tuned in. Shout out to the team. On to the next, baby.